Roman numerals, part 2. Last time we looked at Roman numerals from the numbers 1 to 100. And today we're going to extend that into the bigger numbers in Roman numerals. And if you remember last time I said there's a problem with this numbering system. So we're going to find that out as we move on with the bigger numbers. One problem we already talked about is that these numbers can get very long and complicated looking and not so easy to read. But there's another problem as well. So anyways, let's just start with a little review. So 1 stick means 1. A V means 5. And once we have these two, we can also do 2, 3, and then because now we have the 5 and remembering that 3 rule, you can only have a maximum of 3. 1 in front of the 5 means 1 less than 5, so that's 4. And 1 after the 5 would mean 6. Okay? And then we also learned that with x is 10, we can do 1 less than x is 1 less than 10, that would be 9. And then it can go the other way as well. 1 and 1 after x is 11. Okay, so that's a little review of those first ones from yesterday. Okay, then we learned about if x means 10, then 2 x's mean 20. So 10 plus 10, 20. And 3 x's can mean 30. And there we go. We've got our 3 in a row. We can't do more than that. So we can't do 4 x's for 40. So that means we need to know the next number. L is 50. So 10 less than 50 would be 40. 10 more than 50 would be 60. Okay, and boys and girls, sorry, you don't need to be writing any of this down because we did this last time, okay? Okay, and 70 would be 50. Oh, sorry, did that wrong. 50, 60, 70. So 50 plus 10 plus 10. 80 would be 50 plus 10 is 60 plus 10 is 70 plus 10 is 80. Now we're at 3 x's. So now before we can do 90, we have to know what 100 is. 100 is C. An easy way to remember that is C stands for century, which is 100 years. Or you can think cents. There's 100 cents in a dollar. Okay. And so 10 less than 100 is 90. Okay. And then we talked about the way to put numbers together last time. So if I had 87 was my number, that basically means I need to write down the parts of 80 plus 7. So 80 would be LXXX. 7 would be 5, 6, 7. There's the Roman numeral for 7. Okay, so we talked about looking at the tens and the ones and thinking about that when you're writing out the numbers. Okay, so this is where I'd like you to get your pencil and paper going. So you can write at the top Roman numerals, or if you'd have the page that you did it on yesterday, just put it on the back. Okay, and this is number 2 today, part 2. Okay? Okay, if you're all ready to go with that, well, go ahead. Otherwise, just pause until you catch up. Okay, so you're writing this down now. So we said C equals 100. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is write that down, and then I would like you to write down 200, 300, 400, 500, and I want you to take your best guess as how to write 200 and 300. So try to fill in these answers before you unpause the video. Okay, pause. Okay, so if 100 is C, 200 would be CC. 100 plus 100 is 200. So give yourself a check mark if you got that right. 300 would be CCC. 100 plus 100 plus 100 is 300. Give yourself a check mark if you got that right. Now, I don't know, some of you might know how to do 400 and 500, but we cannot do 4 C's for 400, so we need to figure out 500 first. So the symbol or the letter for 500 is D. Okay, so you can write that down beside the 500. And then I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out how to do 400. All right, so 400 is 100 less than 500. Okay. All right, once you have that all copied out, you can go on to the next page. Okay, we know what 500 is. You don't need to write that one out again. I'm just putting it here because it's on another page. But I would like you to pause the video and write down 600, 700, 800, 900, and 1,000. Okay, you've got all those numbers written out. So now let's think about how to write 600. What is 600? 600 is 500 plus 100. So this is 500, that's the D. What would we put after it? What is 100? Look back on your sheet if you can't remember. Yes, it's a C. Okay, so DC means 600. So now I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out 700 and 800 on your own. All right, 500 plus 100 is 600, plus 100 is 700. Give yourself a check mark if you got that right. 500 plus 100 is 600, plus 100 is 700, plus 100 is 800. Give yourself a check mark if you got that right. Okay, now we have to remember the 3 rule. We can't have more than 3 C's. So 900 again, we're going to have to know what 1,000 is first. So 1,000 is M. And if you can think of the word millennium, millennial, millennium means 1,000. So a millennium is 1,000 years. So that's a good way to remember that. Letter M, just like a century is 100 years. The C, a millennium is 1,000 years. Okay, I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out how to do 900, remembering that 900 is 100 less than 1,000. Okay, so if we put the 100 before the 1,000, that means 100 less than 1,000, and that is 900. Way to go if you got that one right. Okay, make sure you have all the right answers copied down before you go on. Okay, so we're going to figure out how to write some bigger numbers today. So when you're doing this, try to think of the parts. We did this in the fall when we did our unit on place value. If we do expanded form of this number, 200 plus 40 plus 7, we can look back on our Roman numerals page and figure out all the parts. Okay, so what is 200? So look back up. How did you write 200? Okay, so 200 was C. Okay, and go back and find how did you write 40? Forty was X, 10 less than 50, which is L. And go back and figure out how you wrote 7. Okay, 7 was V11. So if we put those all together, we could just do it like this if we wanted to. CCXL V11 is 247. Now, I don't know about you, but I think this is a lot easier to read than that, right? Okay, make sure you're all caught up on that one before you go on to the next one. Okay, 719. Let's take it apart into expanded form. 700 plus 10 plus 9. And now I want you to pause the video and I want you to find the three numbers and write them in. Find your three Roman numerals. The Roman numeral for 700, the Roman numeral for 10, and the Roman numeral for 9. Okay, 700 was D, C, C, so 500, 600, 700. 10 is X. 9 is 1X. And if we put those all together, D, C, C, X, 1X, which is a pretty cool looking number, but it's hard to read. Okay, make sure you have that all written out before you move on to the next part. Okay, next one, 904. Now, we're going to write out the 900. There's a 0 in the tens, which means there's no tens. So we're just going to leave that part out. So unlike base 10, you don't need to mark the place with 0. There is no, did you notice that there is no Roman numeral for 0? Very different than our base 10 system of counting. So we do not mark zeros anywhere. Very different. So this is 900 plus 4. So I'd like you to go back and find those two Roman numerals that go in there. Pause. Okay, what was 900? 900 was 100 less than 1,000. So CM. The Roman numeral for 4 was 1V. So if we put those together, CM1V. 904. And you can see that place values really don't work like ours, right? We can only have one number in each place value. And this system is completely different. Okay, if you're all done writing that out, you can go on to the next one. Okay, let's try this one. It's a bit of a doozy. All right, 1,364. 1,000 plus 300 plus 60 plus 4. Okay, so I would like you to go find all those different Roman numeral parts and write them down. Pause. Okay, the 1,000 is M. 300 is C, C, C. 60 is 50 plus 10. 4 is 1V. Let's give yourself a big check mark there if you got that one right. That was a big one. Now, for 170, I want you to do both parts by yourself. I want you to do the expanded form, okay, of the number, and then write the Roman numeral on top. Okay, so pause your video, see if you can figure that out. Okay, expanded form is 100 plus 70, and there are no ones, so we do not write it in. Remember, there's no zeros in Roman numerals. C is... Okay, sorry boys and girls, there's a little glitch in the recording and I can't tell if this part recorded or not. So if I'm repeating myself, just go on until you find the new part, okay? So 170, I would like you to write out the two parts of the number in expanded form and then write the Roman numeral over top. Okay, pause until you have that done. All right, you should have 100 plus 70. There were nothing in the ones, and remember we don't write zeros in Roman numerals, so we're going to leave that part out. The Roman numeral should be C for 100. 70 is LXX, 50 plus 10 plus 10. So give yourself a check mark if you got both those parts correct. Okay, 491, I want you to write out the expanded form again of the regular number on the bottom, and then find all the Roman numeral parts to go with that. Pause. Okay, 400 plus 90 plus 1. So 400 is 100 less than 500, so CD. 90 is 10 less than 100, and 1 is a 1. Okay, give yourself a check mark if you got both of those right. Boys and girls, please make sure you have that all copied down before you move on. Okay, now, if M is 1,000, think about what 2,000 and 3,000 would be. I want you to copy this page down and then give your best guess to 2,000 and 3,000. Pause your video. All right, if M is 1,000, 2 M's is 2,000. Give yourself a check mark if you got that. And 3 M's is 3,000. So give yourself a check mark if you got that. What would 4,000 be? Now, I have some news for you. Ordinarily, we would look at 5,000 to figure out what this would be. But in Roman numerals, there is no such thing as 5,000. There is no such thing as 4,000. So the highest number that can be represented with a letter is, with one letter, is 1,000. And then we can make 2,000 and 3,000 out of that. So there are no more higher thousands than 3,000. You could think about what reason there might be for this. Well, this was created thousands of years ago. Did people in everyday life need numbers that were bigger than the 3,000s? If they needed those numbers, I think they would have made them. So today we're used to counting and thinking about big numbers. There's billions of people on the earth. There are trillions of stars. There are gazillions of grains of sand on the earth. There are millions of people that live in Canada. And so we're used to hearing big numbers like that all the time. But thousands of years ago, people really didn't deal with numbers that big. And their towns and cities weren't full of people that were that big. Okay? All right, we're going to try a couple of big numbers here in the thousands. I'm going to try writing those. So let's do 2,000 plus 500 plus 40 plus 7. So I'd like you to write that all out, pause the video, and then see if you can fill in all the parts of that number. Okay, 2,000 is MM. 500 is D. 40 is XL. 7 is V11. Way to go if you got that. Okay, the next one is super simple. We love to see zeros when we're writing out numbers in Roman numerals because we just ignore them. So 3,000 plus 3. So write that out, pause your video, and see if you can find that number. Okay, here it is. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 3. There it is, 3,003. And the next one, 1,000 plus 900. We ignore the 0, plus 2. So pause your video and see if you can write that out. Okay, 1,000 is M. 900 is 100 less than 1,000. And 2 is 2. 2 sticks. Okay, so way to go if you got those ones and managed not to get confused. Okay, you're going to have 5 questions for homework. So to help yourself, write out the number in expanded form underneath like this, and then write the Roman numeral on top. Okay, you can come back. I'll come back to this page in a second here. And that's number 4. Okay. And the number 5 is a challenge question, but I would like you to try it. What is the biggest number you can make using Roman numerals? So we know that the biggest number in the thousands is 3,000. So I'm going to give you a hint and tell you that your number starts with 3,000. That's the beginning of your number. But what other numbers can you add to that to make it as big as possible? We can't make 4,000. There's no way to make 4,000. So see if you can figure out the biggest number possible you can make using Roman numerals. Okay? So you can rewind the video to the page before, copy out those questions, then come back to this page, and I want you to give your best shot to trying number 5. And a really good way to think about that is to think about it using our regular place value. So if 3,000 is the biggest number that can go here, what do you think are the other biggest numbers and how could you put that together? Okay, so good luck with that one.